Before we get started with our formal program, we have invited Colombian-born singer and songwriter based in Philadelphia, Ms. Laura Liscano, to perform her original piece, Hello, Old Friend. You're going to love her. She is awesome. So accompanied by guitarist Jake Kelberman, please welcome Laura Liscano.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing tonight? So I wrote this song for my best friend from Colombia. When I moved to the States, we thought that we were never going to see each other again, but then I ran into her in New York City one day, and so I wrote this song about that moment when we connected again. I never thought that I would see you again. The universe once pulled us apart, and now it's giving us a brief moment in time to hold each other tight and laugh about the past. Hello, old friend. Tell me what you're up to, where you've been. I've thought about you now and then, imagined you a different way, but you haven't changed a bit. I love to see you smile and hear the same sweet laugh, my dear old friend. Who knew that we would meet right here today? And maybe now we'll both go our own ways. Oh, but it's still nice to find your familiar face so far away from home, my dear old friend. This is Jake on the guitar. Yeah, give him a hand. And now, old friend, the time has come to say goodbye again. I hope that life may treat you kind. I hope that you may always find the happiness you seek until we meet again somewhere along the way, my dear old friend. My dear old friend. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Laura Liscano.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for that wonderful song. Well, hello and good evening. My name is Lorraine Ballard Morrill, and I have the honor of serving as your MC tonight. Welcome to the annual showcase of the most impactful young professionals across the tri-state area. The mission of Aldea's 40 Under 40 is to magnify diversity in the professional workforce and to honor the hard work and dedication of people from multicultural backgrounds. Our aim is to shine a light on community leaders and their impact within the region. The class of 2021 represents a new generation of business and community leaders, media, influencers, innovators, and artists. Congratulations to Aldea's 40 Under 40 class of 2021. You may applaud. And you all look so beautiful and handsome. Anyway, throughout the evening, we would like to encourage you to share, tag, and post on social media using the hashtags Aldea40Under40 and Aldea Live. Thank you to the Aldea team for putting together this exceptional program together. Yes. This work, however, would not be possible if it wasn't for the support of our sponsors. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Thomas Jefferson University Hospital and Jefferson Health. And thank you to our supporting sponsors, Independence Blue Cross, Drexel University College of Medicine, Temple Health, the Knight Foundation, the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania Convention Center, and ASM Global, and to our media partner, NBC 10, Telemundo 62. To share some remarks, please welcome the news director for Telemundo 62, Ana Hernandez.
I'm not paying them. So good evening on behalf of NBC 10 and Telemundo 62. I want to thank Aldea News for organizing such a wonderful event tonight, celebrating the diverse culture in the Philadelphia area, celebrating this amazing group of young professionals under 40. Some of them from my team, and I'm so proud because I know these leaders like Miguel Martinez Valle, Isabel Sanchez, Iris Delgado. Also, I know many of the nominees and honorees tonight, and what they have accomplished, it's not easy. It requires dedication, commitment, and passion, and that's on a regular year. We know how hard it has been to accomplish anything during something so unprecedented as this pandemic. So their achievements are even more meaningful and more incredible. As we hear and understand their journeys, their multicultural backgrounds, it really gives me joy, it gives me hope. I know that our future is on the hands of these professionals that are overachieving in their industries, from health to communications, art, business, influencers, innovators, and community leaders, really making a difference in our communities, creating opportunities and a better path for future generations. And it's important because you are needed. We are at a turning point, and it's so exciting to watch. The census just confirmed what we knew. We are growing at a very fast pace. The Hispanic population in our area grew from 10% to 14%. If we look only to Hispanics between the ages of 18 to 49, the population has grown 35%, 8% among Asians, and that's great news. Now what we do? This brings new challenges. We have to create opportunities for them in terms of transportation, jobs, housing, immigration, and health services. I believe we are in good hands. As I look around to this room and I see the nominees and honorees tonight, I know they're up to the challenges of the present and the challenges to come. With the support of all of us, a little bit over 40, we can be unstoppable. So I have an invitation for you tonight to be bold, to find new solutions for all problems. Let innovation be your compass. I invite you to bring your unique perspective, your Latino, Latinx, Black, African American, Asian, LGBTQ perspective to the table. Bring your diversity and heritage to what you do, because your uniqueness is needed. I invite you to be the change. Congratulations to all the nominees and honorees tonight. Thanks for having me. Buenas noches.
Thank you, Ana. And now I am thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker, but first, please enjoy this video. Sandra Campos is a first-generation Mexican-American. 3 times CEO and 2 times founder in retail and retail technology. She is the CEO of Project Verte, a supply chain technology company, founder of Fashion Launchpad, an ed tech platform, and has led global lifestyle brands up to $1 billion in retail revenues. Ms. Campos has been instrumental in operational turnarounds, digital transformation, and international expansion. Previously, she was CEO of Diane von Furstenberg, Global Group President of Juicy Couture, BB, and BCBG, and has spent the past 20 years of her career accelerating global growth through omni-channel initiatives, distributor and franchise partnerships, and operational discipline. As an entrepreneur, she created one of the original celebrity brand management companies and launched Selena Gomez's lifestyle collection across 14 categories. Ms. Campos is an advisor for Athena Technology Acquisition Corp., a special-purpose acquisition company on the New York Stock Exchange, and is on the board of directors for Big Lots and the national nonprofit Girls Inc. She also advises CPG founders and retail tech and AI startups, and is a frequent keynote speaker and panelist across the globe. She has been named a Latina of Influence, a Female Founders Alliance champion, a Top 100 Latina Leaders, Top Líderes in Business, and a Top Woman in Retail. Campos grew up in Texas, but moved to New York City upon graduating from college in order to pursue her dream of becoming a fashion CEO. She values lessons from her childhood, where she learned product development and logistics from her parents' tortilla factory. Her mother prioritized education in their home and raised a judge, an attorney, a CEO, a PhD professor, a published photographer, and an entrepreneur. Sandra lives in New York City and spends time with her family at her upstate New York Rescue Horse Farm. Please welcome Sandra Campos.
First of all, with all of that, are you surprised I'm not 90? Thank you for that. That was such a nice surprise. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here on this very celebratory evening to be able to celebrate this incredible group of honorees and nominees. And I want to first of all thank Martin. I don't know where he went, but I want to thank him for connecting and to really be able to see what this small and mighty team from Aldea has been able to do here. If you look around, this is incredible. And it's even more incredible because, as Anna was saying, we have some real stats now that are visible from the census to show exactly how large of a community we have in this country. So very excited for that. So I am Sandra Campos, or Sandra Campos, or only to my mother, Sandy. And, I am here really I was asked to share my story. You kind of saw my story there. But I was really asked to share my story, which, I never knew or thought anybody would really care much about it. But I realized that we all have stories, right? Everything we do just layers on top for our own stories together. And if mine can help someone else through the experiences that I've had, the mistakes that I've made, and the wisdom that I've gained after 30 years of being in corporate America, then that's good enough for me. And my story really does honor my mother, because I wouldn't be the strong woman that I am, and my 2 daughters wouldn't be the strong women that they are becoming if it weren't for that strong foundation that I had from her. So as I tell you the stories, I do want you to think about 3 key messages. And that's what I want you to take, hopefully, out of this entire message that I will share with you this evening. Family values, hard work, entrepreneurship, persistence. That's the essence of who we are as Latinos. Everyone here tonight, the nominees and the honorees, are change makers. It takes bravery. It takes bravery to be an entrepreneur. It requires commitment, and it requires not letting fear get the best of you. But that's what our grandparents and our parents have shown us, how to be brave by sacrificing everything to come to a new country in order to provide a better life for their families. They faced racism, intolerance, and so much more. Some of you are actually the ones making that sacrifice now for your own family's future generations. But how many of you have felt that you didn't fit in at any point in your life? How many of you are firsts? First to graduate high school, first to go to college, first to work in corporate America. And how many of you have had to navigate that uncharted territory without anyone in your family being able to help you through it? It was unfamiliar territory for my family. Did anyone share a roadmap with you? Because they didn't with me. As far as I know, there's not a book that walks you through the steps of what it is to be a first generation having to prove yourself in corporate America. I am first generation Mexican American, and I can say that proudly now. I didn't always, but I do now. My grandfather was a bracero, going back and forth from Mexico, building our railroad system during World War II. My father didn't have a high school education. He barely had a middle school education. But he immigrated to America with no English, no skills, no education, and therefore he had jobs like being a milkman, working in a hotel as an elevator operator, and others, small jobs. How many of your parents or your abuelitos have stories like this? My mother didn't let prejudice or racist people stop her from learning, getting degrees every decade of her life, and creating her own financially stable future. She bribed her 6 kids, or maybe incentivized us, might be a little bit nicer, but she bribed us with money for every A that we would get on our report cards and for every book that we would read during summer. She worked multiple jobs, days and nights, 7 days a week, saved her pennies to take us on a beach vacation every year without fail. But my guess is that part of my story is very familiar to many of you as well. I was raised in Texas at a time when spick and wetback were common terms that were used to define Mexicans in our town. The skin color was predominantly white in schools, in church, and in our neighborhood. We got the look, or the looks, depending on how many people were around, when we would be piling out of our station wagon, all 6 kids, with our non-trendy clothes, or when we would enter a room and my parents' heavy Spanish accents were audible. But we are all products of our environment and our upbringing, and what I've realized over time is that my story, which is probably like many of your stories, is what drives my ambition to succeed. I saw my father work himself to sickness around the clock at his tortilla factory. I saw the lack of respect he got amongst businessmen when he was an early adopter and an eager entrepreneur, and he could have been mentored and he could have been supported in order to scale his business. I heard women at my church talk behind my mother's back and not support her when she was trying to build her real estate business's client base. These experiences impacted me deeply. It's the reason I decided I wanted to be a leader so that I could make that change and not have that experience for anybody else. I didn't want people to be treated the way that my parents were. It's why I created milestones for my own career that I needed to achieve in order to feel successful, however I define that. It's ultimately what made me want to become a CEO as well. But let's face it, titles matter in corporate America. I'm a 3-time CEO and a 2-time founder in big name companies, and that's why I was invited to come speak today with all of you today. But going back to the parent sacrifices, the outcome of their sacrifices is why Latinos now represent almost 20% of the population, and we are the 8th largest economy in the world. I don't know how many of you guys know that. We've had large gains in personal income and rapid gains in educational attainment. We know how to spend money, which probably all of you can attest to, because we spent $2.8 trillion and our GDP grew 72% faster than non-Latino GDPs over the past 8 years. But no one explained the game to me when I was a 20-year-old struggling to navigate living in a brand new city, New York City, with no family nearby, or having to learn how corporate politics work in companies in my industry that my parents knew nothing about, or how to make career decisions and how to overcome those obstacles. There were no communities online to get help from. In fact, there wasn't even an online back then, which my kids often remind me of, way back in the day. But if you don't know how to play the game, you cannot win the game. That is an incredibly important message for any other CEO or leader out there that's listening to this today, because if you can mentor and you can take one person and help them and provide and share knowledge, you will be changing our future. My career path has been filled with lots of potholes. It's not been a straight path. I've made moves to pivot. Some were intentional, and some I've had to move backwards in order to move forward. But it all came from moving to New York City when I didn't feel like I fit in Texas. I was the only Latina in my sorority. There were only 2 people of color in it. I wanted to be in a more diverse environment and to quote unquote fit in. But I thought that making drapes for my mother's house and recovering her sofas and making some clothes for my sisters qualified me to be successful in the fashion capital. But I didn't grow up with Vogue magazines in my home. I didn't grow up with my mother having vintage Chanel that she could hand down to me, or Tiffany or Cartier or any of the like. So I moved to New York with a southern draw and a big permed hair, and I didn't fit in. I didn't have a community. I tried to find that community, but I saw that I had to figure it out on my own. And now looking back, that probably was the best thing that happened to me, because I did have to figure it out on my own. I knew early on I wanted to be a leader and I wanted to make the change. I was able to rise through the ranks through hard work, through discipline, and through curiosity of always wanting to learn through companies such as Donna Karan and Ralph Lauren. I was hitting the milestones I set for myself, but then my life changed. And as life does, it pivots for us sometimes when we don't expect it. I had 3 kids under the age of 4, and I was going through a divorce. That rocks your world. The few female leaders that I knew and had seen in the retail industry were traveling and working very late hours. And I knew that my family values were pulling at me that I needed to make a change so that I could raise my kids and see them and raise them as a single mother, which I have now for the past 17 years. It's a feat. So I decided to take the plunge and become an entrepreneur. And along with a business partner, as you saw in that video, we created a celebrity brand management company and built brands for retail. I credit my kids as the single reason that I focused on working with Selena Gomez. She was 15, she played a spunky character on a Disney TV show, and my kids loved that show, and I watched it every Saturday morning. But that journey ended up being 6 years long, generated more than $500 million in sales, and created a category that was new for an accessible mass channel retailer. I said yes to the opportunity, and because that door was opened and I pushed it hard, I learned more than I have at any other point in my career, because that was when everything was changing with social media, digital, licensing, and marketing. The world was changing. This was 2009. So when Selena turned 21 and my kids were a little older, I went back to running businesses and big brands like Juicy Couture and BB and for a multi-billion-dollar company. I added international development to my toolbox of skills, traveled all over the world, and then another door opened. And once again, I let that door open and I pushed myself in. My creative director for BB, which some of you guys may know that business, Nathan Gendon, he was going back to work for Diane von Furstenberg, and he insisted that I meet with her. I became her CEO, and my arsenal grew even more. She encouraged me to speak publicly, to embrace my heritage, to take risks, and to unequivocally support others who don't have access to the same level of experience or exposure. And that's why I'm here talking today. That's why I say yes when people do ask me to speak. That decision has helped me find my voice, my passion for helping Latinx next generation professionals, and to pursue a path that I hadn't even considered before. The pandemic hit all of us, and it certainly hit me, and yet again, it was time to make another pivot. I didn't feel last April and May that $500 dresses were going to be the most important thing at that point in time in my life as well. And when people were losing their jobs and dying from COVID and companies were going bankrupt, it seemed that technology was the way to go. So retail technology, here I came. And I am the CEO of a retail technology company now. So this gave me another chance to learn add more skills to my toolbox while bringing my broader knowledge and insight to a related industry. Now, people always ask me about my mentors, and I didn't have mentors per se. I learned from everyone. It doesn't matter the age, the color, gender, anything. I learn from everyone, even when they don't know it. I educate myself on industries, trends. I'm a student of culture, and I'm obsessive about business. Obsessive. But remember where my ambition came from, right? Watching my parents, working in the tortilla factory on nights and weekends when my parents had to get orders out or they wouldn't get paid from the grocery stores they were delivering to. No doesn't mean no in my world, and I say yes to opportunities because there's always something that comes out of it. When a door is open for you, do yourself and our community a favor and walk through it and create magic, because it can happen. It is possible. I truly believe that knowledge is confidence, and we all need to be confident in ourselves. There are so many things that erode our confidence every single day if we let them. There are so many things that being a woman, being a person of color, it feels like there's additional scrutiny if you make mistakes. And to top it off, we add imposter syndrome to that, and that interferes with our minds, and we replay our mistakes over and over again in our heads. But I want to challenge everyone to think about failures as opportunities to learn and to find 3 positive things that come out of every failure, because there are those situations, they will happen inevitably, but there's always something good to come out of it. There are a few steps I'd like to share that are lessons from my past and ones that I believe are critical for the next generation of leaders and hopefully will help accelerate success, however you define success. First and foremost, embrace your community and support each other. It doesn't matter which Latin country you come from, but support Latinos in every way possible. If you have an Airbnb and you put out shampoos, go and support Baba Rivera, who has Ceremonia and is changing up the hair care game for Latinx. You know, there's so many different ways to support our Latino founders and entrepreneurs out there today. Number 2, pledge to share information and knowledge. Don't be a hoarder. We're not competing with each other. We're trying to help our community grow and to be able to close that wealth gap. Share deal flow or investors if you're an entrepreneur. Share contacts that will help someone. We need to bridge this wealth gap. We need to provide opportunities so that we too can become a united community of leaders in every sector. And number 3, don't wait for the coach to call you into the game. Don't sit on the sidelines waiting for somebody to notice you. Walk up to the coach, tell him or her that you're ready to jump in, even if you don't feel that you are. So what does that mean in practical terms? It means get noticed. Raise your hands, jump up and down, be the first one to call, build your knowledge stack to become more well-rounded in the subject matter. Your life and career require constant shaping, just like business strategies. Building wealth and sustainability to close that wealth gap in our community is key. Education is critical, and without access, that won't happen. And access isn't just about money, it's about support. Community support can move mountains, and this is an important topic for me that I am one of many who are now banding together to make sure we speak this very loudly. There's an intersectionality happening, and more than ever, we have an opportunity to unite, to thrive, regardless of country or origin. It's about being Latinos together. So I encourage you to go out and to tell your story, because there's only one you, and no one knows what you know except for you. And that's what makes each one of us a special unicorn, because the only disability in life is a negative attitude. And with that, I will tell you that we as a community are positive, uplifting each other, and we have such tremendous opportunities, potential. And I see here today with everyone that has come to support these nominees and these award winners, that this is an entirely supportive community. And if we can just take this from one little town to the next town and continue to expand beyond it, we will make huge strides over the next decade. And this next generation of leaders will have a very different experience than the one I've just told you about that I've had. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being a part of this and really being able to celebrate with each one of you tonight. Thank you.
Please put your hands together one more time for Sandra. Inspiring, powerful words. You know, I loved what she said about always feeling like you're not fitting in. I suspect that there's probably very few people in here who haven't felt that at some point, and yet you persisted. Having to select the 40 most qualified individuals from over 180 nominations, of which 67 were unique, was a difficult task for the judges. So, before we move on to the awards presentation, we would like to take a moment to honor and recognize the wonderful 2021 nominees. Yes, please, let's applaud this amazing group. And now, it's time. It is my privilege to begin the awards presentation. This year's honorees will be presented in groups of 10 by members of the advisory board. To present the first group, please join me in welcoming Raquel Arredondo, Assistant Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the University of Pennsylvania Graduate School of Education. Please welcome.
Thank you, Lorraine. It has been an honor to serve as part of the judging committee this year. I've been inspired by the work that our amazing honorees have been engaged in demonstrating leadership and impact in our community. I want to thank Aldea for inviting me to be part of this wonderful event. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Please join me in welcoming our first cohort of honorees. As I mention your name, please join me on stage. Our first honoree, Andres Vivas Lopez. Just keep going. Second, Miguel Alban. Monet Riley. Hector Manuel Herrada Rangel. Christopher Gale. Noel Ramirez. Alyssa Reynoso Morris. Teresa Lundy. Stephanie Rivera Feniri. And last but certainly not least, Noel Claudio. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Raquel, and congratulations once again. To present the second group, please welcome Executive Director of PHL Diversity and my friend, Mr. Greg DeShields.
Good evening, everyone. Where is the energy in this room? Good evening. All right. So let me just start by saying, on behalf of the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau, it is so good to meet and be in person. So let's give a round of applause on that. You know, I would also be remiss if I did not also extend congratulations on behalf of my fellow board members from the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We look at this group, and quite honestly, it's all about succession planning. These are the future leaders of our industry. So good evening, and I am thrilled to be here this evening and serve as a part of the selection committee. This event is very near and dear to my heart as it celebrates diversity by highlighting the best and the brightest of young professionals across the region. I am happy to see that diverse talent can truly make a difference in our city, and most importantly, that I get an opportunity to introduce the second group. So thank you to Aldea, and for those of you who are shortly to be called, if you could join me to the right. So my first recipient is Conrad Benner. Elaine Johnson. All right. Natasha Danella de Lima McGlynn. All right. Kiara Kenny. I love this group. James Fuentes. Julio Cesar Nunez. Sakina Benjamin. I love that dress. Somali Osteen. Hallel Kandi. And Thaddeus Carrero. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Greg, and congratulations to the second group. And now it is a privilege to welcome Nefertiri Sikout, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the City of Philadelphia, to present the third group. Please welcome Nefertiri.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Nefertiri Sikout. As the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the City of Philadelphia, I am honored to be here and to witness a true celebration of diversity. I can just feel the love and the energy and the diverse dynamic in this room, and it's just beautiful. I am so honored to be here and to celebrate the great talent that's being honored tonight. Clap, clap. I want to say thank you to Aldea for being an example for others to follow as we continue working towards real and effective diversity, equity, and inclusion. Please join me in welcoming the third group of honorees. Naomi Laroa, Sylvia Rodon, Amy Perez, Miguel Martinez Valle, Isabel Sanchez, Tommy Choi, Melvin Smith, Amadali Rodriguez, Eric Barragon Ramirez, and last but not least, Leah Murphy.
Thank you, Nefertiri Sikout, and congratulations to Group 3. To close the awards presentation, please welcome Susan Jacobson, member of this year's judging committee, who serves as chairwoman of the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia and president of Jacobson Strategic Communications. Please welcome Susan.
Good evening, everybody. And first of all, congratulations to Aldea. This is a terrific event. And to the awardees, you are our future. We need you. Please stay involved and do these great things that you're doing for our city and our region. We're proud of you, we appreciate you, and actually we need you. I'm one of your judges, so I've gotten to listen to your stories, and they are truly remarkable and wonderful, so congratulations. And now, I have the honor of bringing to the stage our last group of honorees, so please join me as I call your name. Alex Hawley. Priscilla Jimenez. Samantha Heffron. Dr. Jose Ramon Torradas. Daniel Bastidas. Daniel Orsino. Dr. Janet Cruz. Gabriela Sanchez. Maridorlin Gonzalez. And Kellen White. And now, everyone, please join me in one last round of applause for our honorees.
Thank you, Susan. And once again, congratulations to the Aldea 40 Under 40 class of 2021. It has been such a pleasure to MC this event 2 years in a row. I want to thank Aldea's team for putting together just another remarkable program. Awesome. Congratulations again to all the honorees, and thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to all of you for being here. Before closing out the show, I'd like to invite Laura and Jake back to the stage for 2 final performances.
All right. Thank you once again to Aldea for having me and Jake. My name is Laura Liscano. Congratulations again to all of the honorees. The song we're going to play for you is called Song of Gratitude, since we're in that thankful mood. Thankful for the sun in the morning and the rain in the afternoon. I'm thankful for the heat of the summer and the winter snow too. I'm grateful for the love that you show me, though I may not always notice. I'm thankful for the way that you hold me in the safety of your arms. Lately the world has got me on my knees, praying for a change. I know I've lost sight of the good things in my life, so this is my song of gratitude to keep me grounded when I'm confused. Oh, this is my song of gratitude to remind me I've got it all when I'm with you. Sometimes the little things get the best of me. I get caught in the past and the used to be's. Somehow I was convinced that I could go back to a simple time, but now I realize there's no use wasting time wishing for a different life. Lately the world has got me on my knees, praying for a change. I know I've lost sight of the good things in my life. So this is my song of gratitude to keep me grounded when I'm confused. Oh, this is my song of gratitude to remind me I've got it all when I'm with you. Thank you, thank you. We have one more song for you. This is called Corazón. ¿Cuántas palabras se quedan en la punta de la lengua, listas a saltar al vacío? ¿Cuántos te quiero y te amo? ¿Cuántos lo siento y te extraño? Nunca llegarán a sus destinos, a sus destinos. Y yo estoy aquí, lista para confesar todo lo que no he podido hablar. Y tú estás aquí. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. ¿Cuántas palabras escupimos sin pensar lo que decimos? 100 segundos nos herimos. Y aunque es difícil olvidar, el alma nunca va a sanar si no sabemos perdonar. Si no sabemos perdonar. Y yo estoy aquí, lista para confesar todo lo que no he podido hablar. Y tú estás aquí. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. Para confesar todo lo que no he podido hablar. Y tú estás aquí. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. Quieres escuchar mis versos, quieres ver mi corazón abierto. Thank you everyone.
Let's hear it for Laura and Jake. Thank you so much. Just a note, please enjoy the gallery until 9 o'clock tonight. And sobre todo, mucho, mucho, mucho amor.